It wouldn't be CES without a new batch of hardware from Dell, and of course, the company is on a roll this year. There are a handful of new products and some refreshes to the existing lineup. Let's start with the new. There's the Alienware M17, which is the upgrade over the M15, and this is their slimmer lineup. That is a huge design change from previous Alienware lineups. It's just a slimmer design all around. Thin bezels, thinner cases, and just more attractive, more modern looking computers. The M17 will pack in up to Core i9K Intel CPUs and NVIDIA's RTX 2080 graphics and all the things in between that. It's going to be a really powerful machine. Screen-wise, Alienware is going to offer Full HD, 1440p, and 4K versions, and that 1440p panel goes up to 120 Hz, so that really looks to be the one you want if you want high frame rate gaming. It weighs 5.79 pounds, and Dell claims it's going to be their thinnest and lightest 17-inch gaming laptop ever. That's a pretty impressive size. Even the Alienware 13 a couple years ago weighed over 6 pounds, so that's a good jump there. And of course, it also supports Alienware's graphics amplifier, so you'll be able to plug in a desktop GPU down the line if you want to add more power. As for the Alienware M15, that's getting upgraded with Core i9K CPUs, NVIDIA RTX graphics, and also a 4K HDR panel, which should look really great. And moving beyond the high-end Alienware lineup, Dell's basic G-series gaming laptops are also getting a slight upgrade. Their designs are a little more attractive than what we saw in the spring, and they're also getting new CPUs and NVIDIA's RTX graphics. These will always be Dell's value-based gaming lineup, but the hardware is looking better just internally, and even outside, it doesn't look just like a budget machine. From what we've seen a couple of years ago, the Inspiron 7000 gaming was super popular, and I predict that these will be really exciting as well. And as for the XPS 13, Dell's flagship ultra portable, there's really not that much to change. It's sort of like trying to perfect something that's already pretty great. But Dell did manage to move the webcam to the top of the device rather than at the bottom, so it's no longer a nostril cam. And there's also a new white case that looks really attractive. Dell's also upgrading it with 8th generation Intel CPUs, as well as 1080p and 4K displays, and notably they'll also support Dolby Vision. So just looking at HDR content on these things, looking at Netflix in the bedroom or something, it's going to be fantastic. It was already a great screen, now it's even better. And Dell also managed to shave off even more of the side bezel. It's now 4mm on the screen edges. It looks like it's barely there. Dell claims the screen bezels are 23% thinner than the original XPS 13, which was already pretty thin, but it seems like we're getting to a point where that bezel is just going to disappear eventually. And a small addition that I'm not even sure many people will notice, but Dell developed a variable torque hinge for this computer, which makes it easier to open it up without having a lot of pressure on the machine, without pushing it up. So it's easier to open up, but as you lean it up, it also becomes stiffer, so it gives you some resistance there. That's not something I've ever seen before, but it's a nice touch, and I think it'll make using this machine a lot easier for a lot of folks. And for a slight change of pace, Dell even managed to upgrade the Latitude 7400 2-in-1. This is their business-oriented professional machine, but you can see how much it's learned from the XPS and other models. So the screen bezels are better. It has an all-metal design that looks really attractive. It really looks like this is Dell's attempt to do something that's almost like Mac-like, to really tempt those corporate customers. The screen hinge looks really useful as well, and Dell claims it'll get up to 24 hours of battery life. So I think what we're really seeing here is that even with their professional machines, which are kind of boring usually, they're getting better. Dell's design is just getting a lot more interesting. So overall, Dell has a lot to show at CES this year. I think the gaming stuff is the most exciting. I didn't even mention the Area 51M here. Go take a look at that video because it's a whole cool thing on its own. But in terms of the Alienware hardware, Dell's really pushing things forward, and the XPS, it's sort of like trying to polish something that's already perfect, but even Dell's managing to do that somehow. Stay tuned to Engadget.com for more news from CES 2019.